here today with Pause, Reflect, and Heal with Dr. Randy. This is the show that celebrates the ever-important human-animal bond, and we welcome any questions, comments you might have. You can reach us at www.drrandypetvet.com. There's a phone number that you can leave a voicemail. I can't always answer all of the veterinary questions that come up, but I'd be more than happy to bring them to the show, and we will discuss them, and we've been doing that all through these podcasts. I want to remind our listeners that in the past, we've had some great visitors to the show. We had Dr. Brian Cabin, an MD who is also an integrative veterinarian, integrative doctor. We've had Paul Blauschild, a world-famous dog trainer. We've had Christine Delmonico, who is basically from Pet Joke, the supplement Joke. We've had Brandon Bush on from Animal Biome and discussed about microbiome and the importance of that. I want to let everybody know that if I look a little different to you today, that's because I had major eye surgery last week. Still recovering, but I decided you guys can handle it. I can handle it. We're going to do this show. But I want to say so thank you so much to my good friend and Dr. Leslie Neems at Tucson Eye Care, who performed the surgery. She's an amazing MD, an amazing ophthalmologist, amazing plastic surgeon, helped with some lid problems that I was having, blocking my vision. So I apologize for my looks today, but we'll muddle through the show so we can get through this. Remember that Pause, Reflect, and Heal celebrates pet wellness and longevity. I will help your pets live healthier, happier lives, so you can too. And that's the important thing, that this show feeds off of both our pets, our dogs and cats, and also our pet parents, who are all of you listening. So welcome to the show. Today I'm going to do a little something different. We have talked a lot about a lot of different subjects, but I'm actually going to do a show about me and some of the experiences that I have, some of the really fun things that have happened to me through my education, my internship, my shadowing over at Animal Medical Center in New York City. These are kind of fun stories, and I thought that I would relay them to you and share them because you wouldn't believe some of the things that have gone on, and I want to make sure that you get a chance to know who I am and kind of the things that I've done in the past. So bear with me on these stories. I'll try to get them to you, and you can comment on them again. Remember, you can always reach us at drrandypetvet.com. Love to hear from you. Love to know how you're liking the show, what you're enjoying, what you're missing, what you'd like to see in future episodes. So reach out. Love to hear from you. So I want to talk a little bit about getting into veterinary school first. So in the late 70s, there were only 23 veterinary schools in the United States. At that time, there were over 150 medical schools in the United States. So veterinary school was a much more difficult process and a much more difficult acceptance rate than the medical schools. And so most of those vet schools were looking for obviously excellent students that had grade point averages of 3.8 and over, also had side experiences where they had worked at other veterinary practices, they had volunteered at shelters, and this was something that was very common. The interesting thing about the University of Pennsylvania, where I went to vet school, was they were really looking for a diverse population of students. So they weren't just looking for the science-based student, they were also looking for art history majors and religion majors, people who also wanted to get into the veterinary program but may have had a little different background than some of us. So at that point, when I made my first application, I had a 3.8 average from college, George Washington University, and I was one of 4,000 applicants for 107 positions. So if you do the math, you realize that that's a very difficult percentage to deal with. At that point, they were really accepting, the most common situation was people who have applied up to 3 times and sometimes even more. So I made application, did not get in the first time around, did not get in the second time around, and was really kind of losing faith. But I got a really great research job at the University of Pennsylvania Medical School, and I met a woman by the name of Dr. Maria Delavoria Papadopoulos, who was head of pediatric respiratory medicine at the University of Pennsylvania, also at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. And she was a guiding light who said, Randy, you just have to hang in there. Everything that you've done is phenomenal. You've got the personality for it. You're going to be a blessing to veterinary medicine. And I did hang in there and ended up on my third application getting accepted to the University of Pennsylvania. This was in 1976. At that point, I walked into my first class at the University of Pennsylvania. And if many of you do or don't know, there's this syndrome called the imposter syndrome, where you've done all the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be. You get there, and then all of a sudden you're wondering, is this something that I really can do? Or did I just pull this off and I'm really not sure that I'm going to be able to do this? And so I walked into class thinking, oh, here I am applying 3 times. I didn't know what the average of my class was. I looked around, there were 106 other students. And then I found out after the first day that the majority of my class had applied 5 times. Many of them had PhDs. I had part of a master's degree and I applied 3 times. So that imposter syndrome slowly started to fade away. The good news about the veterinary program and vet school was at the end of the 4 years, I was president of my class. I had gotten the highest honor in the University of Pennsylvania Vet School called the Leonard Pearson Prize for clinical acumen and dealing with all of my studies. And so obviously, the comment that I'm going to make to you all is don't give up on your hopes. If it's something you want to do, stick after it. Do everything you can to make it happen, because it has been a godsend for me. 43 years of being a veterinarian has told me that it was the right choice from the very beginning, and I'm so glad that a woman by the name of Dr. Maria Delavoria Papadopoulos encouraged me to continue going on and do what I did, and then graduating with all of these honors in my class. So, and I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just telling you that don't give up on your goals. Make sure that you keep fighting for what you want. So that's the story about veterinary school application. The second story, there's a couple stories that go along with what we call an internship. So at the veterinary programs in the United States, some of them, I guess many of them, offer what's called an internship. An internship is an extra year of study, usually rotating through medicine and surgery, and you stay at the university that you get into as for this internship. And there were internships in the United States. There were also foreign internships that you could get. So I applied for a number of them, but I got accepted into the University of Pennsylvania Small Animal Hospital. I also got accepted into the University of Pennsylvania Large Animal Hospital. Now, many of my friends and some of you won't know this, but my goal when I went to veterinary school was actually to be an equine surgeon. And an equine surgeon means that you go to an internship, you do 2 or 3 years of a residency, you sit for your surgical boards, and then you practice somewhere, usually at a university, but now there are a lot of established veterinary large animal hospitals that would take veterinary surgeons. This was what I wanted to do. I found out all through my veterinary program that I was leaning both ways. I could have gone into the small animal hospital, I could have gone into the large animal hospital. The reason why I did not end up taking the large animal internship was my experience was I was at a place called New Bolton Center, which was the large animal facility for the University of Pennsylvania. Very prestigious. Many, many racehorses go through there. It's a fine facility. They do great work. But I found that a lot of times the horses that came in there were worth more to the owners for insurance purposes than they were to be alive. And I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to go into veterinary medicine about. And again, it's not a comment on the whole horse industry, but it was what I witnessed when I was at the University of Pennsylvania. So at the very last minute, and I mean the day before the decision had to be made, I selected to take the internship in small animal medicine and surgery at the University of Pennsylvania. Again, another godsend because it was incredible experience. The University of Pennsylvania at that time were looking for residents, and these are the people who teach the interns who also go on to get board certified, whether it's in internal medicine, surgery, neurology, cardiology. but they were looking for resident applicants who had been in practice for a number of years and wanted to come back and now specialize. So it was a great group of people that I got to learn from, because not only was I learning from the best in the veterinary world as far as education, but I was also learning from the best of people who had been out in private practice. So for example, when I did my orthopedic rotation, we'd have a dog with a fracture that would come in, and the orthopedic resident would say, now, Randy, I want you to tell me how to fix this for no money or for unlimited amount budget, all the different ways that we could fix this fracture and make this work. And this is the way that I was able to learn a lot of practical information going through this rotating medicine and surgery internship. So I'd like to tell you a couple stories about my internship, because it was really fascinating.